You guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I want to say hello and welcome to everybody. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. This is where we have smart conversations. And these are conversations that we suggest are held in the Black community. I believe in Black intelligence. And that means also being honest. Honesty means going wherever the conversation goes, even if that makes us a little uncomfortable, or even if it's a little politically incorrect. I'm okay with that as long as we're telling the truth. I want to say hi to Rodney Barnes, Kimberly Mosberry, Lorinda Buckingham. How are you? Mar Ross, good to see you. Yeah, so let me send out this text. I'm going to send out a text message to invite some of our friends to join the conversation. If you want to get a text notification when we go live with the show, you can go to, you can text the word Boyce. Just text Boyce to 31996. Text the word Boyce to 31996. This is going to be, I think, a pretty interesting conversation because I can tell a lot of people have a lot of opinions about it, and I'm in that group too. I have opinions on this, and so rather than avoiding the hard conversation, I thought we would dive right into it and kind of, sort of just talk about the nuances of it. So do me a favor as we get started, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, as you know, on the Home for Intelligent Black People, first thing I love to do is do the shout out. So shout out your city, your business, or your dream. Your city, your business, or your dream. Or if you want to, you can shout out all three. It's up to you. I want to see what business owners we have in the house. So you should market your business whenever you can. I want to see what wealth builders we have for the house. In the house, people that are breaking cycles in their family. Simba is from Johannesburg, South Africa. That's what's up. Javelin Lightning says, shout me out. Well, you have been shouted. You have officially been shouted out. Michael Harrison, Dewan, DeMarco, the conciliary, me and my dog, Bobby Fisher. How you doing? Paul Jr. says, New Jersey in the building. I see Simba from Alabama Eternal Happiness Foundation. Andrew Combs, CPA. Oh, you making big money right now because you're doing all them taxes, I bet. Tina Jackson, how are you? Mar from California. Faye from Oaktown. Let's see. I see Byron Franklin. I see Extra Cheese from Syracuse. I see Joyce from Chicago. Colleen says UK in the house. Love Black Britain. I think about you guys at least a couple times a week because I love London's one of my favorite cities ever. Monique from Chattanooga. Monette from Cincinnati. Let's see what else we got here. Open Up Top Flight. Fitness gym and coffee shop in Houston. Text Asia, shout me out. You've been shouted out, Derek. It's BK all day. Brooklyn in the house, says Mr. Smalls. Okay, Biggie Smalls part 2. I love that. All right. So let's see. I see Ghana. Oh wow. Okay. So we got Ghana, St. Louis, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas, Chicago, Syracuse, Baltimore, Midwest. Aries Women's Network, online TV network. Oh, I like that. That sounds like fun. Melinda, Spokane, Washington. Andrew says, I want to do an interview with you about tax tricks, Boyce. I am not. Oh, well, you can bring in the tax tricks because I am not. I don't do my own taxes. I'm smart enough to know not to be dumb enough to be trying to do my own taxes. I got an accountant named Jessica Smith out of Chicago who does my taxes for me. She's a very smart Black woman with a photographic memory. So the number one rule in business is to always find Black women that are smarter than you, and also look for brothers that are on the come up. And that's what we do in our business. All right, so let's get started. Let's jump into this conversation. I'm gonna tell you guys the truth just from the jump. I'm real nervous about this discussion. And why am I nervous? Well, because it's kind of one of those things where instantly when I ask my friends about it on Instagram, my Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins, and I asked them about this topic. A lot of people had an opinion, but there were some people who said, "Don't even bring up this topic. You shouldn't even be talking about it. Take that down. Take that shit down." And I said, but I want to talk about it. I don't think it's bad to talk about it. In fact, actually, I'm a teacher. I believe that we can learn lessons from everything, right? So so I'm conflicted. I'm like, oh gosh, with Nipsey just dying, Nipsey Hussle, the brilliant rapper that he was, the brilliant human being that he was, the brilliant businessman that he was, with him dying, it's kind of like a touchy thing. When you talk about the dead, you got to be careful. And I agree with that. I'm a big believer in that. But on this particular topic, this really got me going a little bit, got my juices flowing. Literally, I took a whole page of notes just from my thoughts. You can't even read this chicken scratch, but I literally wrote down a bunch of thoughts that I had on this issue. I just couldn't not talk about this. And so basically where this came up is that there was this video blogger. I'm sort of, scrolling through YouTube, just laying in a bed, in my big boy drawers, just looking at YouTube, seeing what's going on in the world. And I see this video, right? I see this video where this lady's like basically saying Lauren London should have secured the bag. And I'm not gonna lie, my first thought was, I was kind of offended. I was like, what? Secure the bag? Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Nipsey. The man that she loved, who was just brutally murdered in front of everybody, senselessly murdered, and has a whole community in mourning. He's the bag, right? He ain't a person, right? He's not a human being. He's a bag. Like, she should have secured the bag, right? And I'm not gonna lie, from the jump, and I want you guys to know how I analyze things. I try to empathize and look at something from different perspectives, right? So I'm gonna be my own devil's advocate. So I'm probably gonna sound a little schizophrenic in a minute, because I can literally see this clearly from all perspectives, because I'm a big believer in financial security. But just that idea that the first thought that comes through your mind, isn't, poor Lauren, I'm so sorry. I want to give you my sympathies. It's not, well, what about his poor children? Or he was a great man and doing great things. What a horrible way to die. Nothing, none of that touchy-feely shit. Just, oh, she should have secured the bag. You know what that translates to? Honestly, in my mind, in my weird little mind, it translates to some almost like a Cardi B kind of line of thinking, like, oh, you should have got that nigga before he got shot. You should have got his shit. You should have had him break yourself. Remember they say break yourself, fool. Like it makes you think that, like, literally, that there are people in the world that can sort of look at something like this, something that's so tragic, to watch, and the first thing you're thinking about is how you should have had your hands in his pockets before he died. That kind of bothered me. I didn't like that. And me and my dog, he says, let's call it like it is, hoes. Yeah, Charlie says, are you referring to successful ladies, Dr. Yeah, I am. But I'm not trying to put her on blast. I'm not trying to attack nobody and nothing like that. I told you, I'm not fighting with no black people in 2019. So if we're going to debate something, we're going to debate ideas. I'm not going to get into no nasty personal stuff. But I'll say this. I saw that and I was like, wow, like, damn, like that was kind of brutal. So I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder how many people agree with this. So I looked, and at first I noticed when I look at the thumbs up to thumbs down on the video, it was like 50-50. Like there was half thumbs up, half thumbs down. And I expected that. That's a controversial perspective. And then I looked further down and looked at the comments. And the comments were really interesting. The comments were like, girl, thank you for schooling me on the game. And yeah, I love the way you tell it like it is. Oh yeah, you're so right. These girls have so much low self-esteem. They'll let a man drag them along for 10 years and then they ain't got nothing. They don't get nothing out of the deal. And I'm going to give you some perspective on this, because there's actually biology that does say that that a woman who has an attraction to a man that has financial resources is not necessarily a gold digger. In fact, I've done actual videos where we talk for an hour about my subjective sort of perspective on, when it's overkill, when you might fall in that gold digger category. And women aren't the only ones who could be gold diggers. There are lots of men who are gold diggers. I know successful black women who are doing very well financially, who've been literally robbed by men that they were dating. I'll tell you one story. I had a friend who was a corporate executive, and she had this big, gigantic house, 8,000 square foot house with a movie theater in it and all this other stuff. And she met some guy, man of her dreams, told her everything she wanted to hear. And they're having this great relationship. I'm air quoting here because you see where I'm going with this. Well, one day she's sitting at her desk and she's going through her credit card statements because she didn't get there by accident. She grew up in the hood, and she went from the hood to the Ivy League and ended up getting this important position, making maybe $250,000 a year. And she saved her money. She put her money in real estate, stocks and bonds, all that. So she manages her money. She keeps an eye. She was Nipsey Hussle on her bank accounts. So you ain't gonna get nothing past her. Well, she goes through and she finds on her credit card statement something about or an invoice for a pair of shoes that were not her size. Like, she wears size 6, the shoes are like size 9, And so she's like, what? So she starts going into detective mode. So she goes to the shoe store and asks the clerk, do you remember a person who came in and bought these shoes? And she described, and the lady happened to remember, because I guess it's one of those fancy places where black people don't go that often. And so they always remember the black people because they always got the eye on you. They think you're there to steal, right? And it doesn't matter. Oh, it happened to Oprah, I think. Oprah, she went in the place and they thought she was there to, like, I don't know, they thought she was, they were telling you, well, ma'am, you know, this purse is $800. And Oprah's like, well, I'm Oprah, I can afford an $800 purse. But anyway, so they remembered and they described the boyfriend, same height, same everything. But she said, but the girl she described was not her, it was somebody else. And she couldn't get to the bottom of it because when they came back and she brought the police back, the girl suddenly got amnesia. She didn't remember nothing because she didn't want to get involved. But, you know, things like this happen, right? So this idea, I want to first of all explain, I argue that, you know, that a gender specific use for the term gold digger is no longer required or necessary, because you do have gold diggers that are both male and female. Lots of female celebrities like Sherry Shepherd have learned the pitfalls of, or the challenges. I'm not going to say the pitfalls. I'll say the challenges when you marry a regular guy. You know, Jill Scott went through a big messy situation where she, you know, grabbed a guy and then she was trying to dump the bag. She wasn't trying to hold the bag. She was trying to get rid of the bag, just throw the bag on the side of the damn road. And he was like, but wait a minute, I have expenses. I have to take care of my parents. And she's like, but those are your parents. Those aren't my parents. I take care of my parents. Now you go take care of your parents. That's what children do. You know, but then he's like, well, I have a lifestyle to which I've become accustomed. And that's what happens, right? That's what happens when you are the bag and the other person is trying to secure the bag, right? You know, you get to the point where you're thinking, okay, this didn't work out. From an emotional standpoint, you're like, oh, well, we were in love, but now we're not in love. So that means that you go your way, I go mine, and it's all good. But the problem is that the person who's thinking of you as a bag, who only sees you as a way to secure the bag, they're gonna be like, oh no, motherfucker, no, you ain't going nowhere. You better bring your ass right back. You belong to me. And then they start doing the Jennifer Hudson thing. Remember Jennifer Hudson in Dreamgirls? No, 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 no way. I'm living without you. I'm staying. I don't want to be free, right? So basically they're saying, I don't want to be without my bag, right? So basically the thing is that if you get a bag, or you are a person who goes out here and hustles up and you go make some money, you know, dating becomes a complicated process, because in the eyes of some people, you know, you may be a human being who's worthy of love and attention and affection and all these other things, these delicate concepts that we're taught in school. Or you could just be seen as the bag. Like, girl, you better secure that bag. Oh man, you better, look at all that money she got. You better go secure that bag, right? And so I'm not saying that that this is all wrong. I'm not really one to talk about the morality of it all. Like, I mean, who cares? Man? You decide what your morality is, what your value system is. That's not my job. I'm here to sort of talk about the logistics of everything, because I think that whatever choice you make, just know what you're getting into. Just know that if you are a person who is a bag, who is making lots of money, dating is not the same for you as it is for the Burger King employee, right? I for example, I couldn't help but notice that when I started making a little bit more money, I suddenly became really handsome. I went from being like this average looking guy to suddenly being like, to having beautiful women say, oh my God, you're so funny. I'm like, I'm not that funny. And they, you know, oh, you are so handsome, but your little dimple. I'm like, no, I'm just a mediocre looking dude. But there's something that happens, right? You get a little bit of a bag, and then you get people that are craving that financial security the same way a man might be craving a piece of ass. Like, ladies, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know how men, can you ever tell when a man is looking at you with those, like, I really want to fuck you right now eyes? Like he's looking at you, like you could just tell, you're like, oh my God, I need to get away from him, because if we were alone, he would probably try to rape me, or better yet, he's just looking at me like I'm a big juicy steak with like a side of mashed potatoes, right? And so basically, you know, it kind of goes both ways, right? Human beings have desires, human beings have needs, human beings have things that they want. And in many cases, people see relationships as an avenue to obtain the things that they want. Now, I got a thought on that relates to this whole scenario, specific scenario. If you want to talk about Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle, I'm very delicate about that because I don't want to be insensitive to Nipsey's family. I don't want to be insensitive to Lauren London. And also, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to their relationship. I don't know nothing about neither one of them in terms of how they loved each other, and neither do you. Nobody knows that, right? Nobody knows. So that right there, I hope can help us at least agree that this statement about, oh, Lauren, you should have secured the bag, or you stupid for securing the bag, is kind of an ignorant statement. Not because the idea, not because the concept of financial security in itself, even through marriage, is a bad idea, but because you don't know what the hell Lauren did. I mean, last time I checked, Lauren London has a baby with Nipsey Hussle and Lil Wayne. And last time I checked, these are wealthy, multimillionaire dudes who probably pay at least most of their child support. I assume all of it. I'm going to assume all of it. And I will be willing to bet you that you and I, any of us in here right now, Tyrone, Irene, everybody, I bet you that we could probably live good off the child support alone that Lauren London receives from the kids that she has. And that's assuming Lauren London is not a rich and famous actress who's able to go out and secure her bags of her own, right? So the idea that we can really talk about Lauren London in particular, in specifics, is just stupid because none of y'all know this lady. None of y'all know why she made the decisions that she made. We're just imposing our value systems onto her. So what I see here is an opportunity to talk about you, because you know your situation. I don't know your situation. You know your situation. We could talk about us. We know our situation. We know the big picture, extrapolative ideas behind marriage and what marriage does. And I'm a finance professor. I wrote a book called Financial Lovemaking, which means I spent years studying and analyzing money and relationships and how this all plays out. So I said, this is a good opportunity to have a good conversation about something that actually matters beyond just what did Lauren London do and was Lauren London stupid for not marrying Nipsey Hussle. I'm going to assume Lauren London did what worked for Lauren London, and that's what it was. Right. So anyway, I'm going to send out a text message to the rest of the crew to let them know that we're live now. Everybody, on the count of three, please hit the thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, don't forget we're on iTunes. So if you want to get the podcast on iTunes, you just go to iTunes, look for Boyce Watkins. You can find it. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Give me 1 second. Please hit the thumbs up button. Share. If you're on Facebook, please share it to your Facebook page. I would really appreciate that. We got to push this intelligent Black media thing. We have to have an agenda, and we got to pursue that agenda every single day so that we can eventually outweigh all this ignorance that's out in the world. And I'm going to tell you, in the last decade, I have seen the Black community evolve immensely. In 2010, I remember doing an event. Actually, we did the event in 2013 or 2012 or something like that. But I remember doing an event early in the decade with Dr. Cornel West. And I remember Dr. West, he spent a lot of time. He's a great man. I love this man. I mean, he's a wonderful person, up close and far away, just a great guy. Anyway, so Dr. West was speaking about how he felt that the whole Black community was sleepwalking. That young Black people were not awake. They weren't paying attention to racial issues. They were all into materialism. And he can't say that now. He can't say that now. I mean, now you got even celebrities that are woke and really trying to grow as Black people, really speaking the language, of independent, thoughtful Black people. So I think that we've accomplished a lot this decade, and I want to make sure I make that point. I think we should pat ourselves on the back. We got a long way to go, but we made a lot of progress as a community. We've changed a lot. I've watched. Before Trayvon Martin, you had a whole different Black community than the one you have right now. So we need to give ourselves a round of applause. Like, just stop, clap for yourself. Give yourself a digital round of applause for the fact that we as Black people have grown and evolved, and we have pursued Black thought, Black intelligence, wokeness. All these things are now a little cooler than they used to be. We still haven't gotten to where we want to get to, though. Like I saw that idiot Kodak Black doing an Instagram live stream, and there's like tens of thousands. I think 10,000 people are watching Kodak Black on Instagram, and we know Kodak Black, he probably can't even count to like 2. And Kodak Black probably can't even spell his own fucking name because he's so damn stupid. But so there is a group of us that are still lost. There's a group of our community. There's a segment of our community that's brainwashed. A segment of our community that is not going to do well in this generation, but there's a huge segment of our community that I believe has really moved forward. And I want to say that that's something we should be very proud of. So give me 1 second here. Okay, here we go. All right. So let's dig deeper into this idea, this whole concept, securing the bag, right? And talking about this, not just in the context of Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle, but in the context of marriage as a potential pathway to economic security and all this other stuff. I will say I'm going to definitely be one of the first to say that there's nothing wrong with that. That if you really study biology, you find that women more so than men, but to some extent men, especially now, because we got a society that wants men to become little bitch ass whiny boys. Like they really don't like men to be masculine anymore. Like any form of masculinity is seen as toxic now, right? So now that you've got men sort of embracing the behavior patterns that were traditionally experienced by women, you do have men that will look at a woman as a way to secure a bag, right? That means pretty much anybody who's got assets and resources has to be careful. And so anyway, first of all, I'm gonna say thank you, daughter of Oshun. I appreciate your donation. She says she has a child with him. Her bag is secured. Well, that's a way to look at it, right? That's a way to look at it. But what I'll say is that when you're talking about this idea of securing the bag, I'm going to go ahead and speculate that perhaps, if you're talking about Lauren and then really more so any of us, there are different reasons why people might want to get married and not get married. I will say this. I will say, as a person who has not gotten married, I haven't gotten married. I did propose. I proposed to a woman on the Wendy Williams show about 13 years ago. And I love this woman dearly. She was an awesome person. And we didn't get married for reasons I won't go into because it ain't none of your motherfucking business. But I remember that, that one of the ways one of the things that were going through my head at that time was, I said, the greatest way I can show this woman I love her is to tell everyone how much I love her. Because I would go on Wendy's show and Wendy would always ask me these eligible bachelor questions. And she'd be like, so Dr. Boyce, you're a professor and you're, and so what kind of women do you like? And blah, 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 blah. She'd ask me these sorts of questions and it was drawing like a lot of attention. And I'm not really, I was like the stupid nerdy guy. None of y'all have wanted to date me back in the day. I was just an average dude. So I wasn't used to that kind of attention, but then also, because it can lead to manipulation. Like you get famous, you don't know the difference between a woman that really wants you and versus just somebody who just wants to claim that she slept with you. I've seen all that. I've had that experience. I'm going to tell you the truth. So I remember thinking, because I respect this woman so much, I'm going to just tell everybody how much, how awesome this woman is, so that they'll know I'm spoken for, I'm taken. And that's one sign, ladies, in case you don't know, in case your daddy or your uncle Joe never told you or whatever, like that's one way you can tell if a man's really into you, is if he tells everyone about you and he's sort of, giving you accolades and all this other stuff. That's his way of saying, yes, I am claimed, I am taken by her. Now, does that mean that, other things can't be going on, side chicks and all that? No, it's still stuff like that still happens, but it does mean you have a special place in his heart that nobody else can have, because he's announcing to the world that this is my queen, right? It doesn't excuse anything. It doesn't mean that men always behave exactly the way, the textbook tells you they're supposed to behave, but it does mean that he has a special place, or you have a special place in his heart, right? So I remember that was my thought process. I was like, I want everybody to know how special this woman is, and I remember also that one of the things that made me want to commit to her publicly was that I felt that I was I was making myself vulnerable to her. I was giving her my heart, which is a very scary place to go. For anybody, especially me. I was happy seeing. At times I had no relationship, wasn't dating anybody. I didn't sit around thinking like, oh, I can't wait to find my wife, or I can't wait to get married, or I can't wait to be in a relationship. I didn't care. Honestly, I did not care. Right. So that relationship emotional vulnerability was kind of a big deal. And part of the reason I felt comfortable doing that, I feel weird talking about myself like this, but I'm going to tell you the truth, just so maybe you can learn something from it, is I felt okay doing that, primarily because she gave me the impression that she was a person who didn't look at me as a way to secure the bag. She was a person that seemed to really truly care about me as a human being, whether I had a bag or not. Now some people know how to act. Some people know how to pretend. They'll make you think, oh, it ain't about the money. The money doesn't matter. Boys, I would think you were great even if you didn't have a nickel in your bank account, right? You got people that can pretend, but I watch carefully, and I'm not stupid. I'm very observant. I'm a scientist. I'm a professor. Like, I know how to analyze stuff, right? So if I had seen something that was a little bit fake or a little bit weird, I would have been like cued into that, right? And I didn't see that. And so I think that that's the danger also. Like, when you get into these conversations, You know, where this lady's having, this blogger's having this conversation where she's saying Lauren London should have secured the bag and blah, 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 blah. And then you have all these women that are like, yeah, you know, yeah, that's right. Yeah, these men, they just lock you down in these relationships and they don't want to marry you. Or yeah, she should have done that, and she let her opportunity go. Like it really comes off like a bunch of dudes who are basically saying, man, he should have hit that pussy. He had the chance to get that ass and he didn't have sex with her. Oh, bro, you with her and she's all into you. Oh, you know, you can get some. You can go get you some. How long is it gonna take you to get some of that, right? Like what kind of man would you want to, ladies, tell me, yes or no? Yes or no? Answer the question, yes or no. Would you even be attracted to a man who saw you as a piece of meat? Does that appeal to you? Does that appeal to you? And let's say that his friends, you overhear him talking to his friends about how he's gonna secure that bag, but he ain't. Usually when men are talking about securing the bag, they ain't trying to secure the bag. They ain't trying to get your money. They trying to get your valuables, right? They ain't trying to get your dollar bills. They trying to get they trying to get to your pot of gold and your pot of golden honey, right? That's what they're trying to get, right? And it would turn you off if you saw a man where that seemed to be his primary concern. Like that's the first thing he thinks about or mentions before he mentions all the other great things about you. Now, let's be clear. You ain't stupid. You ain't stupid. You know, Miss Brown, Lori Johnson, Barbara Moore, you're not stupid, Tina. You're not stupid. You know what men like. You know how we are. And if you don't know now, you know. We all think about the same shit. It don't matter. A guy can act like if he's gay, then that's different, right? But every heterosexual man that is coming up to you, trying to go out on a date with you and trying to be nice to you, who wants to spend time with you, quality time with you, and get to know you better in a private context, just know in the back of his mind, he knows at some point he's hoping that you can get to the point where somebody is getting some ass, right? That's what, because that's what human beings are. Human beings are reproductive creatures. We are attracted to one another. We mate, we have babies. That's how the evolutionary process works. That's how the circle of life works. Right? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being sexual. And truth is, you want to have sex too. Most women like sex as much as men. We know this. We know these things, right? We're all grown here. We can talk about this. Right? So it's not so much a matter of him wanting the same thing that any man might want. The nice guy might want the exact same thing that the pervert wanted. But why do you like the nice guy, and why are you quick to give him your golden pot of honey, but you don't want to even go near the pervert who's talking about sex as the first syllable in every conversation? Well, it's the approach. It's this sense that in the eyes of this other person that you don't want to be around. You're not a whole human being. You're not somebody that he's gonna, love through thick and thin. You're not somebody where, you could be sick and in the hospital and not able to have sex and he's still gonna come see you. You're looking at this guy and you're thinking, yeah, he's gonna be nice to me as long as I'm giving him sex. But if he doesn't get that, then he's not gonna care anything about me, right? He's not the guy that's gonna come see you if you're sick in the hospital, right? Or even care when you tell him my mama just died or whatever, right? So I think that overall at the end of the day, what we got to do as people is kind of know that everybody kind of wants the same thing. So when somebody says Lauren should secure the bag, I think a lot of women would agree. A lot of people, not just women, a lot of people would agree that financial security is an important thing. There are biological studies, there's study after study that shows that women, more so than men, tend to be attracted to men that can provide economic security. Actually, it's just all forms of security. It comes down to, that's why men who have more money are more attractive. That's why men who are smarter are more attractive. That's why men on average who are bigger with big muscles are more attractive. That's why even men who are funny are more attractive, because even the ability to be funny is a sign of intelligence. An intelligent man can solve problems, and the intelligent man can go out and figure out how to get money to help you feed the kids, right? So you don't know this is happening. This is all subconscious and on a deep evolutionary scale over billions of years of evolution or whatever. But that's kind of what's happening, right? That's why a more powerful man is more attractive. That's why Barack Obama, when he became president of the United States, suddenly became one of the most attractive, most desirable men in America, when, I bet you that at least 90% of those women wouldn't have been interested in Barack back when he was so broke that he couldn't even get a credit card with enough of a balance on it for him to rent a car, right? I think that he would have been less attractive back when he couldn't pay the rent than he was when he's sitting in the Oval Office, because they don't charge rent in the Oval Office because you're president. Right. So basically, all these things I think are okay. It's really a matter of it being tacky, almost to the point of being a little bit taboo and weird, superficial, materialistic. And so when I'm looking through and I'm seeing all these women co-signing on this statement, like, oh, Lauren was stupid, she should have secured the bag. None of these women look attractive, especially to a man that does have a bag. Like, oh, okay, any man in here that's got a little bit of money, maybe you're rich, maybe you just got a good job, or anybody in here, not even just the men. If you're doing well financially, I want to ask you this question, or not even well, just like you got enough where you can provide for somebody else. How do you feel? Are you inspired to share your bag with somebody who sees you as a bag, who sees you as nothing but a bag, who sees being with you and pretending to love you or whatever it is that they're doing, that as an opportunity to get the bag? Like, does that make you want to share your bag with that person? Does that make you say, oh yeah, I want to go right in my bank account and give this person all this money? No, you don't. You don't. And here's something else about men. I'm gonna tell you this. This is, and maybe women do this too. Women got their own way. I really believe women are kind of on a different level of intelligence than men in certain areas. And so I'm going to just tell you what, like with men, I know men that got bags. I know men that got triple bags, big bags, gigantic bags. And let me tell you about somebody who's got a bag. Let me tell you about a man who's got a bag. A man who's got a bag can smell a thought from a mile away. You can smell the thoughty thoughts from any distance. You can tell instantly when a woman is trying to get close to you because she's trying to get to your money. And here's the weird thing about it. A lot of guys will play along with that. A lot of guys will let you get close. They'll be like, yeah, come on, let's go out. Let's have sex. Let's blah, blah, blah. And they'll let you get close. But in the back of their mind, they're thinking, oh, she ain't really going to get the bag. She ain't really, I will never let her have access to my bank account ever in this life or the next. She will never ever get more. The only thing she's gonna get out of me is a steak dinner and maybe a pair of Payless shoes. But she's not gonna get the real bag. She's not gonna get the real bag. The real bag will go to the woman who really gives you the impression that she really loves you, right? And sometimes she may not have any money of her own, but it does actually help if she's even got a little bit of a bag. I mean, I'll tell you this. I can say that over time, when I started seeing women that would sort of cuddle up with you because they think you got a little bit of money, you got a little something, I noticed that I began to feel a little more emotionally safe dealing with a woman who's got her own shit, because if she's got her own shit, she ain't gonna be trying to get all of my shit, right? Doesn't mean that I won't share my shit with her. I told y'all about Alicia. I love that. I would give, if she asked me to write her a check for $100,000 right now, I would. I whatever she wants, she can have it. All she got to do is ask for it. But here's the funny thing, she don't ask for it. and if she did ask for it, I would assume that she must have a good enough reason to ask for it. So I would give it to her without thinking about it. But then there are other people where I wouldn't give them $50. I deliberately have the shutoff switch already hit because I don't trust your ass. I don't, you don't see me as a human being. You are trying to get access to this money or whatever you think that I have. You're not gonna get shit. I'm not even gonna tell you anything about anything that I have because I don't want you scheming on how you're gonna get some of that. I don't want that. And here's the other thing too. And this is important for people, everybody in here is a wealth builder. If you're a wealth builder, say, yes, I am a wealth builder. And even if you ain't got no money, but you're building wealth, like you're probably here because you've heard me talk about investing, owning businesses, and making smart financial decisions. So if you're a wealth builder, raise your hand. Just tell me, like, I am trying to build wealth. I want to build wealth. So let me tell you a secret. This is for the wealth builders in the room, everybody who's building wealth or already has wealth. If you're a wealth builder in the room, one thing you have to be cautious about is that if you are doing well, people that are not doing well love to live off of people that are doing well. There's a natural parasitic instinct that kicks in, like for example, when my daddy, you know, my daddy cusses, right? My dad, that's where I get it from. Y'all don't blame me, blame him. It's a mental illness that he gave me as a child and I can't help. So when I start cussing and shit, just know it's not my fault. I'm not taking responsibility for any of that, right? But my daddy, one thing my daddy used to talk about was he was different from a lot of his friends. Him and my mother believed deeply in things like personal responsibility. These were not typical liberal concepts. Like we believe that personal responsibility is a Republican idea, which I think is bullshit. I think personal responsibility is a human idea. It's a common sense idea, right? So they just kind of always knew that if they messed up their financial situation, nobody was going to save them, not the government, not their relatives, not their friends, nobody. So they took care of their finances. They took care of things like their credit. They always had extremely good credit. I was never really into that stuff as much as they were. But they, I mean, I'm talking about perfect credit. Same thing with my grandmother. And my father used to talk about how people would call him up because if they found out he had good credit, they would want him to co-sign for stuff. They'd be like, hey man, basically since they're friends, he'd say, they'd be like, hey, I want to get this car and I really need it so I can get back and forth to work because my other car broke down. There's always a sob story. Whenever people want your money, they always come with a story, right? And so they're very good storytellers. So they would tell the story and they would want him to co-sign or whatever, something that seems relatively harmless, not a big deal or whatever. And he said, I'll cuss you out. He said, why the fuck you think I'm gonna fuck up my credit, like trying to help you and what makes you think that I believe you're gonna protect my credit when you haven't even taken care of your own? You haven't even taken care of your own credit. What makes you think that I'm gonna believe that you're gonna protect mine? But that doesn't even make any sense, right? And so that protective mechanism is something that you eventually have to develop when you're doing better, because when you're doing better, because there's so many of us, so many people in our community who've been trained to have the woe is me mentality, the it ain't my fault mentality, it's the white man's fault, it's the government's fault. And I'm not here to, y'all know me. I've spoken extensively about government conspiracies. I've spoken extensively about white people. That's why white people don't like me. They don't hire me for shit. They never will. And that's fine. I don't care. I've spoken extensively about that, but I have balance. The other balance is that we know our people. We know that some of our people do their best all the time, and some of our people do their best never. Right? Some of our people just are crippled, are a little bit, they're struggling psychologically with this idea that they can actually control their own destiny. So as a result, what happens is you become successful because you made certain decisions, you put yourself in a certain place in the world, and then other people will lay on you what can best be called survivor's guilt. Right. So the survivor's guilt is, and this is something I wonder, I really can't help but wonder if Nipsey Hussle was hit by some of this at all. But survivor's guilt is when, you rise up out of the hood because you're different, right? Nipsey Hussle was clearly different from everyone else. Nipsey Hussle was talking about stuff everybody else wasn't talking about. Other gangbangers were talking about, whatever the hell they was talking about. Nipsey's up here talking about, I want to own real estate and I want to invest in crypto and I want to do this and do that, right? And I'm not, when I use the term gangbanger, I'm not using it in any sort of derogatory way. So I want to make sure that's 100% clear. But Nipsey was affiliated with the Crips and it was what it was. It's not a stigma anymore, in my opinion, right? But Nipsey was different, right? And you cannot disconnect the difference in Nipsey's outcomes from the difference in his approach to everything, right? Different people get different results. People who do the same shit get the same shit, right? So Nipsey did things different, and that's why Nipsey had a different outcome, right? And so basically, what happens sometimes is that you rise up out the hood, and because you're doing something different, but then the people who don't want to be different, who want to do the same shit, they make you feel bad about the fact that you rose up, and you start wondering, like, gosh, maybe I should feel bad. Like, maybe I was just blessed. I was just lucky. I was just fortunate, right? That's what they do. Oh, you're so blessed. No, I mean, I don't know if it was blessings that made me sit down and read a book when you wanted to go to the club. That wasn't no blessing. That was just me just not wanting to be broke. Well, oh, you're so fortunate. No, fortune wasn't what led me to save 25% of my income when you was making it rain at the strip club or when you was spending your money on Gucci. That wasn't a blessing. That wasn't luck. That was me. That was me, right? That was the God in me. Right? If you want to give credit to God, point to the God that's inside of me that led me to be where I am. But we get that survivor's guilt. So next thing you know, we're disabling and disarming and undermining our own success because we're trying to carry the whole hood with us. And as Nipsey Hussle seemed to learn, I'm delicate about this because I have so much respect for this man, but it seems to me that we can agree that, that whole incident is a reminder that while you're trying to carry the whole hood ain't trying to get carried along with you. The whole hood ain't down for the agenda, and so I would say at the end of the day that, when you start building that wealth, you got to understand that there will be people that will see you as a way to help you fix their problems. They will see their life as the problem. They see you as the solution. They need to be saved, and you are Captain Save-A-Ho. And that's for the men and the women. Some of y'all ladies right now might be saving some weak ass, broke ass dude right now. And people that are continuously stuck in that victim space, when they get done leeching off of you, when they get done getting the bag off of you and getting what they can out of you, and you ain't got shit left, your business done fell apart because you done hired the wrong people, your money's gone because you constantly bailing them out of bad situations. Your credit's fucked up because you co-signed and then they didn't pay the damn debt. Like, what the hell, man? Yeah, it didn't. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna do exactly what parasites do. When a parasite gets done with one host, the parasite just moves to a different host. You know, when the parasite gets done sucking the life out of one tree, they say, okay, this tree's done. There's another healthy tree over there. I'm gonna go suck out of that tree. And you got people that live like that. You know, Antoine Walker, I think he was married to one of those basketball wives. And she was big on that. She's, saw herself as financially savvy, trying to secure the bag. I forgot her name. Somebody tell me her name. I can't remember her name. But she dumped his ass when he didn't have no more money. And basically that was her whole game. Her whole game was, I'm going to secure the bag and go from one baller to the other, give them what they want, dance for them, look good for them or whatever. And every time she would get with the guy, suck him dry, and then she would move on to the next one. Evelyn Lozada, that was her name. So do me a favor, please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done that. Please hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you want to get started actually on your wealth building journey and you want to be a better wealth builder, we have a great program. It'll be on sale actually on the 12th, 70% off. It's blackmoney101.com. That's blackmoney101.com. You can get a certificate from the Black Business School once you complete it. Also, you can learn so many things about wealth and wealth building, so many lectures in there. It's better than any college class. Like, it's literally like almost like a 2-3 year curriculum, depending on how long you want it to be. And so we're going to have a discount for a 24-hour flash sale, or you can do a first month free if you want to sign up today. It's blackmoney101.com. Another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that we are on iTunes, so don't forget that. Also, if you want to get a text alert when we go live, text the word voice to 31996. Text voice to 31996. Now, some of you I saw were making donations as we were going along, and I want to say there's no disrespect to you. Y'all know how I am. Sometimes I just get into the conversation, and I don't want my ADHD to kick in, so I stay focused on what I'm saying. But I want to say I see you, and I thank you, and I thank you, Malachi, for your generous donation. I appreciate that. It will be put to good use. It will be put into the community. It will be used to spread Black intelligent media throughout the world. As you know, we give donations to schools. We do all kinds of stuff. Freedom Home Academy International is one of the schools I've adopted. And so that's one of the places that actually gives a quality education to Black children. And we create a little scholarship over there. And I'm actually going to reach out to them again very, very soon. Okay, so let's talk a little deeper about this. So we're talking about Lauren London and Nipsey as kind of a jump off point in the conversation. And and there were these ladies that were criticizing Lauren London for not securing the bag. Give me a second, hold on. And I told you guys I took a little issue with that. The idea of looking at a man as a bag. I don't think that's going to make any man want to marry you. No intelligent man is going to marry anybody who's talking like that. I mean, it's just like a man trying to secure a piece of ass. Like, ain't no woman gonna want to be with a man like that. She's gonna be like, you can have the ass, but you got to show you care about me in some other capacity. And so I think one other thought I had was I thought it was a little bit sexist to even assume that Lauren London wanted to marry Nipsey Hussle. That Nipsey not being married to her was always his decision. This idea that marriage is something that men want and men give and women want. That doesn't always apply. Again, Lauren London's not a person that has to secure a bag. I imagine Lauren London is a person who probably has a bag of her own. And so maybe for her, she saw marriage in a specific way as well. I mean, she obviously had to agree to something because they were together for several years and they seemed to have a relationship where they seemed to care about each other. I know, also Daryl Bell, who was on A Different World. He's been with Tempest Bledsoe from The Cosby Show for 20-something years. And I know Tempest and I know Daryl, and I know that when marriage comes up, they're both just kind of like, no, like, this isn't something we chose to do. Now, again, you don't know what's happening in people's relationships, but I do think that this assumption that Lauren was just sitting around just nipping at the bud to marry Nipsey. I don't know. I think that might be an old-fashioned assumption, because here's the thing about marriage. A lot of people see marriage in an interesting way. They don't see it just as a romantic, emotional construct. Like, and it's not that. Marriage is not just about like, I love you, therefore I'm marrying you. No, we want to believe that that's just not true. Because I mean, if that's the case, then you could just claim that you're married. You can have a private ceremony in your bedroom where nobody's looking and just say, I commit in front of God to be with you for the rest of my life. But most people don't go for that. That doesn't qualify as an official marriage in the eyes of many, right? Marriage is a contract. Marriage is a business, pretty much. Marriage is like going into business with another person. You sign a document and you say, that for as long as we're together, the assets are going to be split a certain way. If one of us dies, it means that the money is going to go in this direction or that direction. It means that if we have a house together, one of us is going to get the house. If the other one dies first, automatically. There are lots of automatic financial benefits that come with marriage. And so you can understand why somebody who wants to secure a bag will see marriage as an opportunity to have that bag, right? Marriage is one pathway to achieving that objective of having financial security if your goal is to get financial security from another person. Now, one thing that is not mentioned that is as readily is that marriage is not the only way. If your goal is to get a bag and secure the bag, marriage ain't the only way to secure the bag. Now I talked to my friend Yolanda Spivey, who runs the blackInsuranceNetwork.com. It's the blackInsuranceNetwork.com. That's where I get all my life insurance policies and everything. So if I God forbid, if I went out suddenly in a Nipsey Hussle type situation, I got all the policies in place. I got the will in place, and Alicia knows what's in that will, and she knows what's in those life insurance policies, and I make sure everybody that I love is taken care of, right? Because that's the thing. If you're a man, you take care of the people you love, whether you're here or if you're not here. If you are, and same thing is true with ladies as well. If you really care about those people in your life, you will get good insurance because you don't want them looking crazy trying to beg the church to pay for your funeral because you didn't leave them a few $1,000s to at least make sure you got buried, right? So life insurance is a necessity. If you don't have it, get it right now because you don't know how long you're going to be around. But the thing is, so when I talked to Yolanda was telling me that there are many, many ways to secure the bag without it going into this discussion of actually having to commit to holy matrimony or whatever it is, or this legal construct of marriage. Remember, we have a society where half of all marriages end in divorce, and divorce leads to a 70% decline in the wealth of both parties. Both parties on average lose 70% of their wealth when there is a divorce. So marriage, if you're not ready for it, or if you think it may not work, or if you think that something bad is going to happen that's going to cause a divorce to occur, marriage is not a good idea. It's not a good idea. I told my daughter, I said, if you're gonna dump him just because you cheated or he cheated, I don't know if you should get married because there's a lot, you're putting a lot on the line to make this business contract, and it's pretty messy to get out of a divorce. If you've gone through a divorce, say something and just let people know how messy it is, how difficult it can be, both emotionally and financially, not to mention the thousands of hours that you could have spent building your business, but you spend those thousands of hours arguing with your spouse over whatever y'all arguing about that leads to the divorce, right? Marriage does not die like quickly and suddenly like a car crash. Marriage dies like a cancer patient, right? It dies slowly but surely, and you just slowly degrade and decline, and then you get to the point where you can't take it no more, then you got to go. Right. So it's an emotionally exhausting process. It's financially exhausting. Marriage really is truly for grown folks. And it's for people that are hardcore committed to the idea of staying married. Right. So that's something that you should know. Now, if you want to secure the bag, actually, before I move on, let me say thank you, Danica Marie from Danica Marie Dope Discussions, for your donation. I appreciate that. She says, women that are genuinely in the relationship for the sole purpose of building with a good man are viewed as pick-me's, weak, stupid, and desperate by the bitter, broken women, though. Oh, that's it. That's an interesting. Ooh, that's heavy. Well, I'll tell you, Danica she's on FlyNubianQueenTV.com also, and Danica don't play. Danica will tell you exactly what's on her mind, and you got to respect that immensely. So I don't know if how you guys feel about that one way or the other, but I do think that there's something to be said about this idea of making the decision that works best for you. I can't tell you what your surefire pathway to success is. I can't tell you that because only you know what you want out of life. But I can say that I believe that a surefire pathway to failure is to always do what other people tell you to do without fully understanding why that decision makes sense for you. So that's whether to get married or to not get married, right? Whatever you choose to do, I think it has to be your decision. I think it has to be something that comes from your heart and your mind and your instinct telling you this is the way I want to go. Because if you marry somebody and it's against your greater instinct, like you're sitting there thinking, man, I shouldn't be married to this dude. It's going to be terrible. He's not a good person. He pissed me off last week, blah, 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 blah. But then you got all these people in your ear. Girl, you better secure the bag. You better secure the bag, girl. Girl, you got to secure the bag. You 29. You need to get married. You know how hard it is to find a man like that, girl? You need to go ahead and lock that in, girl. And so you do it because you've been trained to believe that marriage is always something that every woman should want. And that if a man proposes and he's a decent man, you're supposed to say yes. And then you lock yourself in that situation. Then next thing you know, 5 years later, you're this empty, lonely soul sitting in this terrible relationship, and you can't even go fix the emptiness with a new relationship because you've legally committed to the idea of being faithful to this piece of shit that's laying next to you every day. That's not fun. That's not fun. So marriage is powerful. Marriage is not bad. Marriage is not good. Marriage is just powerful. And before you do anything in terms of, that leads to such a powerful commitment, you better think that shit through, because you're going to be the one who's living your life every single day of the week, not all the people chit-chatting in your ear telling you what your next move is supposed to be and that, oh, you're supposed to do this because you're that age and this age and whatever. No, you got to think outside the box if you want to be happy. I believe that. Or at least that's my formula for happiness. I'm the happiest son of a bitch I've ever met. I swear to God, I don't pretend to be this happy. I really am this happy. And the secret to my happiness was very basic. It was getting to know who I really am and falling in love with that person and not being ashamed of him. I take Boyce Watkins with me everywhere I go. And I know sometimes he's going to embarrass the shit out of me, because sometimes he says shit where I'll be like, damn, Boyce, you just fucked up an opportunity because you were running your mouth again. But then I realized that's my key to happiness, that me and Boyce Watkins are 100% in sync, and you ain't never going to get nothing but the real. And if you can't handle that shit, you need to get the fuck out. Right? So I'm okay with the benefits and the consequences that come with carrying Boyce Watkins with me everywhere I go. That probably sounded like a weird statement, but a lot of y'all know what I'm talking about. A lot of y'all are leaving the real you at home when you go out every day. You know, a lot of y'all are scared of the real you. You're scared to really do exactly what you really want to do because you're worried about what other people are going to think. And I'm just here to say that I believe is a strategy for success, failure. It is a strategy for extreme depression. That's why you feel like you have no soul, because you left your soul at home. Whatever you are, you're just an empty shell and sitting at your corporate job or sitting around a bunch of shitty ass friends that you don't even like because you think that that's what you're supposed to do. You're trying to fit in. Man, to hell with that. You better fit in your own skin. That's how you win. So fit in your own skin if you want to win. I promise you, I did not make that up before 30 seconds ago. So I did not know it was going to rhyme, but it sounds good. So I'm going to repeat it again. Fit into your own skin if you want to win. Somebody say it again. Repeat after me. Type it in. Fit into your own skin if you want to win. Right? That's the only place you got to fit in is in your skin. That's my theory. That's my belief. I'm sticking to it. Do me a favor. Thank you, Janine Purnell, for your gift. I truly appreciate that. Thank you for supporting Intelligent Black Media. Anybody else who wants to support or be a patron or something like that, we really appreciate that support. You ain't got to give us a whole lot of money. Just take whatever you give the white people and divide it by 1,000, and 1/1000th of whatever you give the white people would make us happy. So $5 a month, whatever it is, that helps. $10, $20, $30, whatever it is you want to do, that helps us, because we do put that money to use. We feed Black people. We help Black folks pay the bills. We help have Black people on our team. That I can't do this without my team members. So if you want to support and help what we're trying to do, what we're trying to build, you can feel free to go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. Or if you want to find something for your kids to do this summer, we have financial workbooks for children that we invented specifically for Black kids, flashcards, etc. And all that can be found at blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. Somebody please type that in for me, blackfinancialintelligence.com. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit the thumbs up button. I did not plan to talk on this topic this long, but my God, there's so much to talk about here. Okay, so we were talking earlier about Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle and this whole criticism online from this video blogger and her friends that were saying Lauren should have secured the bag. Lauren made a big mistake, blah, 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 blah. Now, I think you know my perspective on that. I think that you don't know what the hell Lauren London and her and Nipsey were thinking, so you should probably just kind of leave that alone. But I think that there is something to be said about, this whole concept of securing the bag. And so we made this point earlier that if you are a person that has a bag and somebody looks at you and says that they want to be with you because they want to secure the bag, I kind of believe that you got to be careful. You might want to run. If somebody's obsessed with securing the bag, that means you're going to have a responsibility for being their bag. That means that if you have a relationship with that person, you can't just walk away when everything's done. What will happen is that you'll try to walk away and they'll chase you down. The same way Jill Scott's ex-husband was trying to chase her down to get that money, because you're thinking, oh, we just got together, it didn't work out, I'm going to move on. They're thinking, no, you're not going anywhere because you're the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Before I met you, Jill Scott, I was working in a factory, or I was a bus driver, or I was, I was $2 above food stamps, right? Now I get to go around the world. I get to live in a big mansion. I get to go shopping and spend $20,000. I'm not letting this go easily. So, especially for those of you who have money and you see that money is an opportunity to attract, I know guys that make a little bit of money. They're happy because they're attracting all these women. I think that one thing you got to think about, and I'm telling myself, because I've learned this from experience, is you got to think about the fact that if you use that money or whatever you use to attract another person, whether it's money, it's sex, or whatever it is you use to attract another person, you better be prepared to maintain that, right? So that means that if she's with you, and like Kevin Garnett, if you look at Kevin Garnett and his wife, who now wants literally, I think he makes $5 million a year. She wants $2.5 million a year. So she wants half of his income, and that's before taxes. Right. So she really wants a lot of money from him. And if you really look at that marriage, they look like an awkward couple. They look like the kind of couple where you can't imagine her choosing to marry Kevin Garnett had Kevin not been, this big gigantic NBA player. Do you need the cord? Okay, I'm gonna pull this cord out for you. Okay. She needs the cord for the printer. We had so much trouble connecting the printer, and now we finally got the cord that works. So that's the story behind it. Here you go, baby. Interrupting you. Oh, that's all right, sweetie. I appreciate you. All right. Okay. So Kevin Garnett has this wife that, where you kind of wonder, like, they just didn't really look like they would be together. If Kevin Garnett were a broke ass dude, I'm just gonna say it. I don't think she would be chasing him down, or she would have wanted to be with him like she was, with him being like this player that's making $10, $15, $20 million a year. And so now that the relationship's over, she really wants a lot of money. And so basically, if you are attracting someone because you're providing this lifestyle that they couldn't have before, just know you're making a commitment right there to a point that, because if you try to just walk away, they're going to still want that lifestyle. So that might mean, in the case of a divorce, it could mean, extensive alimony and child support payments, right? Or if you're not in a relationship, it could mean the person comes back and decides they want to sue you for something, or they want to, go back and remember something that happened, and make up a story like, oh yeah, he did this to me, he raped me, or whatever, and then they know that you're rich and you're famous, and you don't want anyone to think of you as a rapist, so you give them money so that they don't tell the story. That's why I think wealthy men shouldn't be hanging out with thoughts. Like, you shouldn't, like easy, simple women that are pure, clear gold diggers. You have to realize that you're in jeopardy, because you're going to run into some Cardi B's. You're going to run into some Cardi B's out here who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to secure that bag. And some people will secure that bag legally. Some people will secure that bag illegally. Some people will secure that bag with a lie. We never underestimate the desperation of a person who is trying to get their financial security. A person who feels that you are the key to their financial security will be as sneaky, as conniving, as cunning, as clever, as strategic as any MIT scientist in the history of all mankind. Y'all know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, just go pay attention. Anybody ever watched those studies or those documentaries about groupies and how they literally plan, like an accountant planning tax season? Like, they will literally have like full spreadsheets of athletes and what they got on their last contract and what they like to drink and what they like to talk about, like little Kardashian types, like that, like seriously, like the way Kim Kardashian's mama train them on how to be little hoes and make sex tapes and get fake booties and fake lips so they can go this is not them, trying to make like a couple of dollars, so they can like, go to the club. No, this is like their empire's worth $1 billion. They literally, I mean, it's fascinating. They made $1 billion by being hoes. Like they literally have hoology down to a science, and so don't pretend like there aren't a million other Kardashian-minded people out here. They're some of the most popular women on the planet. I went to China and saw a big billboard with all the Kardashians on it in their underwear. It was like 5 of them. I swear, I was in China, Shanghai, and this big billboard, I think it was Gucci or somebody, some ad, and all the Kardashians were on it, and all of them were in their drawers. Like, so I mean, so that's an example of just how deep the science of hoology goes. Like, you've got some real scientific thoughts out here that will literally plot and scheme. And you don't believe me? Look at Cardi B. Cardi B talked about that. You don't think it takes planning and preparation for her to know exactly how to lure you in with sex? Because they always get the men with sex, because we just a bunch of horny bastards, right? And they lure him in with sex. She shakes a little ass or whatever, and then next thing you know, he's like falling asleep because she done slipped something in his drink, right? And played with his ego. Like, they got us figured out. They got us so figured out. And I just gave up to it. I just surrendered to it. I just know, like that woman, if she wanted to run game on me and take everything I had, she could kill me in my sleep. She could take all my money. She could do all kinds of stuff. So I just hope she never, ever changes her personality or gets mad enough at me to do that. Because if she does, then I'm done. I cannot out plan or out scheme that woman, because I really think that when it comes to things like that, securing a financial future or whatever it is, I really think that there is an extra neuron or two that a woman can have that can just take her to a level where you're just like, oh my God, she's been planning that for 1.5 years. Like Dr. King's assassination, how it turned out that J. Edgar Hoover spent 1.5 years planning out, like in intricate detail, how to kill Martin Luther King. I believe the reason he was able to pull that off, J. Edgar Hoover, is because really, as Vicky Dillon said yesterday, he was really gay Edgar Hoover. He had that gay man brain that pays attention to all these little tiny details that allowed him to plan for 1.5 years on how he was going to kill Martin Luther King and make it look like an accident. That's what I really think. So I think, so the point is that, I think that men, we are led to have a false sense of security at times when we think that, oh, well, because I'm the big shot and I got all the money and people are feeding my ego, then I'm safe. I can just do whatever I want. I can make myself vulnerable. I can go sleep around with whoever I want or whatever. And you need to watch out, man, because you might have that woman in there taking pictures, getting video, recording you, saving text messages from 9 months ago. You got to watch it, because I'm going to show you, I don't think men really think that way. Like, we got our own level of intelligence. We got our own things that we're good at, but that's not one thing that we're as good at, I think, as a scandalous woman. Like, when a woman gets real scandalous, she'll take your ass out in a minute. So anyway, tell me if I'm crazy. Tell me if I'm talking crazy. Vicky says exactly. Okay, I'm glad Vicky. Yeah, Kevin Hart. That's a good example. Kevin Hart. He's like, oh, we're going to do a threesome today, right? They had cameras hidden. They have all kinds of stuff, because Kevin Hart is a big target. He's a big ass bag. The man made what, 30 million, 25 million last year. That's a big bag. So, and you don't even know these women. You've known them for a couple of hours. You don't know what you're walking into. So anyway, so Danica says, true indeed, dual victory. You should not get with a person to complete you. They should only complement you, not complete you. You should be a whole by yourself. They are just a bonus. I agree. I think that idea of like, I need you to complete me, that's a real problem. That's almost that's unhealthy codependence. That's what some would call that. Does not mean that a person can't enhance your life significantly, but I will say that when you need a person to complete you, because you could not complete yourself on your own, I think you got to be real cautious about that, right? It puts you in a real vulnerable situation. And in fact, I've seen a lot of women go through that, women more so than men, where we raise women. We don't believe in teaching little girls financial literacy. We don't teach them to be bosses. We don't teach them to own businesses as much as we should. And we just give them that mindset that if you want to secure the bag, a man is going to be your bag. You go bag that man. That's how you secure the bag, right? In fact, there was times where they would only send women to college to find a husband. Secure that bag, girl, secure that bag. Well, let me tell you about the dark side of that mindset. I remember when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, I had a friend whose mother went to college just to secure the bag. And she did. She met a man who was going to be a dentist, and she dropped out of school in her sophomore year because he's going to be a dentist. Why should she have to go to school? He's going to make plenty of money. He's got the bag, so we're going to be good. Well, 20 years later, he ended up dumping her so he could run off with the 23-year-old secretary. And back then, I guess the marital rights were not as strong as they are now. And so next thing you know, she could not maintain her lifestyle. She couldn't go back to work. She had no skills. She had no nothing, no finances, nothing. And so she was stuck. She ended up wanting to kill herself because her life was gone, because she needed her husband to complete her financially, emotionally, and otherwise. So I'm not a big fan of the idea of needing another person to complete you. I think that you're also valuable when you say, well, how can I also complete somebody else by bringing stuff to the table? So for example, I know smart men that have a bag, or smart women too, that have a bag, and they're more comfortable with somebody who's got their own bag. So you never know. Maybe Nipsey Hussle was comfortable with Lauren London because he's like, I got a bag, she got a bag. Now we got two bags. Now, you got your bag, I got my bag, we both good. Now we got double bags, and we're going to start triple bagging this month because we're going to work together to build bigger bags over time. I think that's an ideal situation. I think that works, right? I think that probably makes that would make any person, I think, feel more secure emotionally and otherwise, because money links directly to your emotion. It's all connected. I think that would make them feel more secure when they know that the person can actually love them as a human being and not see them just as somebody that they need for all these practical reasons, these pragmatic reasons. Like, I need you, I love you, but I also need you because I can't pay the rent without you being in the house. That's not so much fun. Now, I see Joe Coxkey's put, listen, Joe, it looked like Joe, I saw you put, okay, you said, Dr. Boyce, I do not believe you just said that a straight man cannot outplan everyone else. That is a flat out lie. Yeah, you're right. I'm not going to say straight men aren't smart. I'm a straight man. I mean, my God, I wouldn't insult myself that way. But I'm just going to say that when I watch people, I'm telling you, like, don't really piss off a bitter woman. Like, if I had a choice, I'm going to take my personal, if I had the choice between pissing off a really, really super bitter woman versus pissing off a man, an average, any average man that I know, I would probably be a little more nervous about the really bitter woman, because I think there's something there. I think, like, even in our house, like, she knows details. She remembers dates and specifics about things that I forget. And so, but maybe I'm just talking about myself. You could be right, man. I could just be talking about my own ignorance and my own limitations and not speaking in any sort of relevant generality. So I apologize if my statement was offensive on any level. Now we did do a survey. I want you guys to know I did a little survey on Your Black World because I wanted to find out what people thought about this whole idea of securing the bag, and just sort of what, like, is it okay to even look at a man as a bag, and what does that mean, and does the statement, does the statement sort of imply that she's being financially prudent and intelligent, or does it imply that, that she's sort of, giving the perspective that a gold digger or an insensitive gold digger might be giving. So I'm looking at this here, and basically 78%. So I asked the question, I said, a video blogger criticized Lauren London for not securing the bag by marrying Nipsey Hussle before he died. Assuming that Nipsey and Lauren were not married, and that's an assumption. A lot of people believe they were secretly married. From what I understand, there was a, on his death certificate, it was confirmed that he was single when he died. That's what my manager tells me. So I'm gonna go with that. But assuming that Nipsey and Lauren were not married, what do you think about this remark? And one option was the person who said this is an insensitive gold digger. The other one is the person who said this is just being financially careful. 22% said she was being financially careful. 78% said she's an insensitive gold digger. And there's a whole bunch of comments, including comments that were mad at me for even bringing up the topic. But I don't care about that shit. So at the end of the day, it seems that the majority of people feel that comment was kind of all out of line. It was a little bit problematic. And let me just so you can make sure that you gain something. I'll say the one thing that I found really interesting, though, is I looked at the comments beneath her statement, beneath her video, and a lot of people agreed with her. A lot of people were saying, yeah, that's right, or, oh, that's so silly, or, oh, these men, they just drag you along and they don't give you financial security. And I think that's interesting, because I don't really see men do that. I don't see men feeling like they need women to provide them with financial security. And so I almost wonder if we should sort of shift that a little bit. I know that with the girls in our house, I want them to be able to have their own bag, so they're not going to go date some sleazeball piece of shit man because he's got a little bit of money. Like I don't want them to feel like they won't be financially secure unless they're married. I want them to be married to a man that's financially secure, absolutely. But I don't want them to feel like that's their only shot. Like that's all they got. Like if you girl, if you don't secure the bag, then you lost out. Like that's kind of a scary place to be. So one thing I wanted to mention also is that I want to make sure I cover everything. There's one thing that you can do. Actually, before I do that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, if you want to get a text notification when we go live on the podcast, text the word voice to 31996. Text voice to 31996. If you want to get books, flashcards, workbooks, digital download lectures like how to build your own family bank, how to start your own business, things like that. You can actually check out our platform at blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's the store that accompanies the Black Business School. So you can go there and get all kinds of stuff for your family. So feel free to check that out. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it, please hit the thumbs up button. Okay, so let me see here. Oh, that's so funny. God, it says, stop teasing me with your pen. I'm a pen person. I'm about to take your pen. That is so funny. Yeah. These pens say they have the Black Business School on it, and it didn't cost me very much to make the pens. I think I paid maybe a few pennies per pen. But yeah, so look at that. Yeah, but you want that. You want that, don't you, girl? Anyway, all right. So let me keep going. All right. So here's some little tips on ways you can secure the bag without getting married, if that's something that you don't want to do. If you are a person who says, yeah, I want to secure the bag. I want financial security. And maybe you're in a relationship and you want to know that if something happens to your partner, that, you're going to have certain rights. Like, for example, you can go see them in the hospital or whatever, or you don't want to get kicked out of your home because they died, or you want to just make sure you're going to be financially safe. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay to want to be financially secure. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong there. It doesn't make you a gold digger. It makes you practical, right? But there's ways to kind of look at this. So if you want to do that without enduring, the additional risk of marriage, there are certain things you can do. I talked to Yolanda from theblackinsurancenetwork.com. That's her website, theblackinsurancenetwork.com. And one thing that Yolanda mentioned is a living will to kind of specify some of the things that would happen in the case that your partner gets incapacitated or they're in the hospital, whatever. In the regular will, there can be a conversation about the way assets will be distributed. They can state, you can put anybody in your will. And so you got to ask yourself, ladies, does your man have a will? Does he have life insurance? If he doesn't have those things, I'm old school. I question his financial responsibility. I would say, come on, like, what are you doing, bro? Like, life insurance don't cost that much. Take care of your people. Seriously. And so if you're Lauren London, you're dating Nipsey Hussle, it's like, man, you're going down to Crenshaw every day and you got all these guys out here that want to kill you. Let's make sure you're insured, babe, just in case something goes down. And I'm going to make the assumption that they were insured. I'm not assuming that they're not. But same thing is true. Same thing is true, though, with the men as well. Have a life insurance policy on your woman. If that's what you choose to do, there are ways to have legal contracts without the contract all necessarily being a marriage, right? And I say this as a person who is not married. I have not gotten married. Now, if I get married, it will be to a Black woman. Y'all know who she is. But for our own reasons, and it's none of your fucking business, we have chosen not to be married. But make no mistake about it. Life insurance policies, wills, all of that. I got her on that. She's got me. We got each other. That's what you do. That's what love is. Love means I got you. That's what love means. Love might mean I got you financially. Love might mean I got you emotionally. Love might mean I got you physically. But love might mean I got you in some other way. But that's what it is. So if you love the person that you're with, then yeah, you will make preparations in the event that one of y'all gets in a car to go to the grocery store and does not make it home. Another thought is that when you buy assets, when you get assets together, if you get a house, things like that, don't make the mistake of not putting your name on the things that you would want to own in the event that something happened with that person. Because I'll tell you, one thing that really does suck is if you are with a person who has relatives that you can't stand, and when something and then something happens and they die, and suddenly that daughter that hates your guts takes everything that you and that person had. Right? They take, because they're like, well, I'm the daughter, I get to own all of this, right? Or the ex-wife or some shit like that, right? So basically try to think about the things that you might have together that you want to secure, and then just do an experiment. All you gotta do is do the simple experiment. It's very scary, but it's very helpful. The experiment is, imagine if the person was not here. Imagine if they died tomorrow. Death gives zero fucks about your schedule. Death does not care how many what your big plans were for the future. Death does not care that you got to go to work on Monday. Death does not care. Death does not care what you were about to do. Or how much you love each other. Death does not care how busy you were. Right? Death just takes people. And my Uncle Charles was coming home 4 months ago for his 40th wedding anniversary and said, I'll be home in an hour. Where do you want to go eat? And they made plans for where they were going to go to dinner. And he didn't make it home because he ran into some black ice on the road, and the Grim Reaper had other plans for him that day. And when he was gone, he was gone. Yeah, you're right, Lola. Death is cold-blooded. Death gives zero fucks about your schedule. So what you got to do is imagine, if before it's too late, imagine what would happen if this person was not here. What would happen with the house? What would happen with the car? What would happen with the money? Can I get into their bank account? Do I know where all the paperwork is? Do I look, you got to have that conversation, because Black people, one thing that I've noticed with us is that we don't really like to talk about death. We have this weird superstitious relationship with death where we think that talking about death is going to make it happen. Well, I'm here to tell you, I hate saying it to you, but I probably am going to piss you off, but death is going to happen. You're going to die. There is no white Jesus you can pray to that's going to help you live forever. It ain't going to work, right? So basically, the best thing you can do is use the value of now, the value of the present. Your gift is called the present, which is now, which means that right now, today, don't wait till tomorrow, because you might not have tomorrow. Tomorrow might come to you if God decides to allow you to have tomorrow. If he decides you ain't gonna have tomorrow, you won't have it. So you got today, that's all you got. Sit down and imagine, what would happen if I died tomorrow? What would happen to all the people who depend on me? If I'm the person in the family who does everything for everybody and everybody needs me, I'm taking care of mama, taking care of Aunt Lucy, taking care of a little cousin JoJo, or whatever. Or all these people come to me to borrow money. All these people are living with me. All these people need me for whatever. Ask yourself, what would happen if you were gone tomorrow and there's literally nothing that you could do? Nothing you could do at all. What would happen to those people? Well, those are what you might call your financial holes. Those are your holes. I encourage you, I implore you, if you love those people, you will fill those holes up now. It means if you're a business owner and you got employees that you care about, that was my thing. I had people that work for me that where I know that they need the money. I know that they need me. I know that I'm the driving force behind a lot of the things that happened in their life. Well, I had to think about that when I made my insurance policy, right? So just do that. And so I'm not even speaking to Lauren London and Nipsey Hussle situation at all anymore, because I don't know what it is. I'm going to make the assumption again, you have kids with rich guys, you're going to get child support and all that. I don't think Lauren London is going to be on Skid Row because Nipsey's gone. But I will say that in general, there is something to be learned about the idea of securing your bag on a level that actually makes sense, and not just securing your bag by marrying somebody, especially if you know that marrying them might not be a good idea, or you don't even love them enough to want to be married to them. We have to fit love into the equation somewhere. And when you get to where you're only thinking about marriage as a way to secure the bag, well, then first of all, ain't nobody in their right mind going to want to marry you. And then number two, you're giving yourself all the keys to unhappiness that I can imagine. So that's my 2 cents on it. It was great talking to you guys. Please hit the thumbs up button before we go. If you haven't done that, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Facebook, please share the video. Also, if you want to support the platform, please go to blackfinancialintelligence.com. That's blackfinancialintelligence.com. We have all kinds of stuff that you can get, low-cost items and tools that you can use to educate your kids. Like summer's coming, and I don't know if you guys know, we have a Black Business School for Kids. And it's at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. It's a great program. They can get a degree from the Black Business School. So they're actually ahead of white kids, because they get to say, I was educated by college professors when I was 9, and I learned stock investing and real estate and all that at the age of 9. That's going to change their whole perspective on money for the next 80 years. It's going to change your family for the next several generations, because once you're introduced to that kind of knowledge, you're going to teach that to your kids. So if you're interested in taking a look at the program, you can go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. Summertime's coming. I encourage you to put your kids in something that's going to benefit them long term, not just cheerleading, not just basketball camp, not just, you know, these other things that are out there, unless they're going to be a professional basketball player. If that's the case, then, you know, it is what it is. But even then, they need financial literacy. Everybody needs that. So feel free to go check it out, blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. And then on the 12th, we're doing that 70% off special on blackmoney101.com, which is something for adults. And you can feel free to go check that out at blackmoney101.com. And I think you guys are going to like it. So take care, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good day. And thank you for putting up with me and not kicking my ass for having a conversation on such a sensitive topic. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Be good. Peace.